Welcome to the debate. Today is Wednesday, February 11th, 2026. We are really digging into the rewrite reality of long-form video production. And the question is an economic one. Does the time a business owner spends refining AI prompts completely negate the perceived savings of bypassing a physical studio? I'm comparing the Voxel Micro Video Labs model against the current AI generators like Veo 3. My position is that for these 50-minute narratives, the physical studio is actually the superior model now for both operational sanity and, well, the bottom line cost.
And I see that trajectory very differently. I mean, tools like LTX Studio and DeepBrain have democratized production so much that physical studios are frankly becoming geographical bottlenecks. I'm going to maintain that the digital scalability of AI offers 70 to 90% savings, and that going back into a physical room is a regression, not a solution.
Okay, let's drill into that savings claim. Because if I want to produce a 50-minute episode, AI presents this massive hidden cost. The industry sells text to video, but the real user experience is text to rewrite. See, generative video is probabilistic, not deterministic. So that means it's basically rolling the dice every time you hit enter. To get a 50-minute video that doesn't hallucinate or drift, the business owner has to become essentially a full-time prompt engineer. This need for constant visual checks creates what I'm calling a mistake tax. Every time the AI glitches, you pay in time and in credits. At Voxel, that tax is zero.
That characterization feels a little stuck in 2024, if I'm being honest. Modern tools now have project features that lock in character consistency. The rewrite phase is, I think, a minor friction compared to the alternative. Hiring a crew, renting gear, and physically traveling to a studio. We're seeing costs drop from thousands of dollars to literally pennies per minute. The market data suggests business owners would much rather do the rewrite than sit in a rush hour commute.
But the math completely falls apart on long-form content. Let's look at the per-minute reality. High-end AI, something like Veo 3, effectively costs around $30 per minute when you factor in the 3 or 4 bad generations you have to burn through to get one usable shot. For a 50-minute episode, you are burning through roughly $1,500 in compute credits just to get a clean final cut.
Costs 50 cents a minute. You're comparing Hollywood-grade generative compute to, a standard corporate update?
And yet, Voxel's Global Leader Suite is capped at $140 for the entire session. That is the ceiling. You pay for time in the room, not the data volume. If I stumble over a line in the studio, it costs $0 to just say it again. If I mess up a prompt in your system, or if the AI decides to warp a hand 3 minutes in, I pay for the regeneration. For high-fidelity output, the physical studio is roughly 10 times cheaper, $140 versus $1,500.
You are strictly counting cash, not capability. AI lets you do rapid prototyping and, this is the crucial part, instant globalization. I can take that 50-minute video and localize it into 150 languages overnight. A physical studio in San Pedro just cannot do that. The operational sanity you're claiming is actually just a lack of distribution options.
Well, I'd frame operational sanity as the removal of technical friction. Voxel uses a live-to-tape workflow. The lighting, the audio, it's all permanently dialed in. A user can batch 8 to 12 videos in one afternoon, hit stop, and then walk out with finished assets. Your method requires the user to take on a second job as a technical director, stitching scenes and managing glitches. It leads to what people are now calling AI burnout.
Burnout is subjective. For many, controlling the output from a laptop is empowering. But I will concede that stitching a continuous 50-minute narrative does require heavy human-in-the-loop editing. I'll give you that. But as the asset itself evolves, that gap is closing.
But that evolution triggers a whole new problem: trust. Search engines, Google especially, are filtering heavily for human signal and EEAT, experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. AI content is increasingly viewed as non-copyrightable, rented land. Voxel provides a proprietary human asset. By filming in a physical space, you provide the kind of geographic gravity that search engines are starting to use to filter out all the synthetic slop.
I dispute the slop label, though I do agree the quality gap is the battleground. If we're talking about pure authority, then yes, a human face on camera carries a specific weight. I get it. However, for the vast majority of business communications training, updates, global outreach, That human signal is just less critical than the speed of delivery.
So to summarize, for long-form content, the physical studio is paradoxically the cheaper and the faster option. At $140 versus potentially thousands in compute credits, Voxel preserves both the budget and the business owner's mental bandwidth by removing the role of prompt engineer.
And I'd say I admit the rewrite friction is a barrier for long narratives, and maybe the studio wins on the 50-minute monologue today. But for short-form volume, for global localization, and for pure scalability, AI is still the superior financial model.
So it seems the choice comes down to this. Do you want to be a prompt engineer paying for compute, or a speaker paying for studio time? And that's where we'll have to leave it for today.